Well, welcome to our special show, Swine Flu in Schools. You can call in with your questions and our health expert right here in the studio will try and answer most of those queries. Very quickly to run you through what we know today. We know that there have been some more suspected cases of swine flu in some leading schools in Delhi. We know that 4 students have tested positive, all of them teenagers. We also know that most of them had travelled to Malaysia and Singapore during their summer vacations. Now, 3 Delhi schools have been told to stay on alert. The students are from St. Thomas, from Sardar Patel, from Manavsthali and also from Springdale School, all in the capital. 7 teachers have also been quarantined. And we also know that 6 other suspected cases have been reported in other schools in Delhi as well as its suburb of Gurgaon. Now, the students have been sent home for a week as a precaution. 50 of these students are from St. Thomas School and 150 are from Sardar Patel. Well, joining us in the studio today is Dr. Romel Tikku, who is a Senior Consultant, Internal Medicine, Max Hospital. Thanks so much for joining us in the studio. Well, we have been getting a lot of callers, so let's just try and get you our first caller for the evening.
All right, just before we get to that caller, let me just ask you a broader question, Doctor. Is it safe for schools, in your opinion, to remain open at this stage?
See, if somebody is really tested positive for H1N1, we need to be careful, because children as such are a high risk, especially the ones who are less than 5 years of age. So if somebody has really tested positive, you have to at least quarantine the contacts of that particular child, his friends, the class, or the teachers who've been in contact with him, because that's the only way you can prevent the spread of the disease.
Dr. Tikku, what makes children high risk? Because most of the cases that we've been seeing so far are in the age group of, say, 20 to 35, people who have been traveling a lot. Yeah. What makes children high risk?
See, this particular strain affects mostly 25 to 45 age group, but in children, as it is, even the seasonal flu does cause problems because their immunity is not so well developed. That's the reason.
But Doctor, just coming back to your earlier point, children play in schoolyards, they do it every day. So it's not necessarily the class that they're exposing, the assemblies every day in school. So it's a much larger group of students who are potentially exposed. Shouldn't closure of the school, at least for some time, be considered?
Closure of the school, yeah, that's the last resort, I would say. It's debatable whether you should close down the schools. Even in US, when it just came up, the flu, they did close down the schools, but later on they figured out that it wasn't helping to prevent the spread of schools, and they all reopened. But what we can do, since this is a one-off case in our country, in this particular school, we can quarantine the contacts. And over a period of, say, 1 week, keep a track of the rest of the children, or even the teachers who've been in contact with that particular child. And if more and more children are having flu-like symptoms, then obviously we have to close down. One of the schools in US, they had a policy that if more than 15% of the children are having flu-like symptoms, then they should close down the school.
For a while,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we have got our first caller for the evening. Let's just listen to what they have to say. Go ahead, ask your question.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is, yesterday I had a message from my friend, and in that message it contains swine flu is a dreadful disease, and there is no medicine for it. Is it true, sir?
It is not a dreadful disease as such, but if people who are a high risk with chronic medical conditions like asthma, heart conditions, malignancies, they are a high risk. Otherwise, it's a self-limiting disease. See,
Tuba.com